Hey guys, and welcome to Day to Day Scott, where I bring daily content on entrepreneurship and personal growth. Now, the way I do that is I communicate my learning from each day. So as an entrepreneur yourself, you'll know that you learn so much. Or someone who's just hungry for personal growth, you'll know you learn so much. And that's all I'm doing. I'm simply just communicating my learnings from each day through this camera onto the YouTube platform so you can learn from it. There's lots of things we gain from that. You learn from my failures, I can learn because I get to reconfirm what I've learned, and you get to see those light bulb moments in these videos as well. So it is a really nice interactive video where we can both learn, and you don't have to deal with my failures that I've already done. But at the end of the day, failure is fantastic because we're learning, so I still want you to go out there and fail, absolutely. So that's why my channel is unique, is I'm showing you the grind, and that's another aspect to the channel, is that I feel like there's a lot of YouTube channels out there which are fantastic. However, they're very high of their stardom. The influencers like Gary Vee, for example, Peter Voog, whereas I'm in the grind, as they say. I'm in the trenches where I believe most of us are, and that's where you're going to really resonate with me. I'm in the first year of startup, and I feel that's where most people are, where you're really going to resonate with my emotions, what I'm learning, and everything else, and so much more. So I really hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy this channel. There's so much content on here that is entrepreneurship and digital marketing. So there's so much. You'll learn more about me whilst you watch more videos. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, feedback, anything all, please just comment them down below and I will be sure to reply to you. Right, let's go on to this video. I'm sure you've seen the title. It's a bit of a funny one, a bit of a ropey one. Yeah, this is about honesty, truth, and bullshit. Yeah, straight to it. So let's get into it. Hey guys, and welcome back. So, what are we talking about today? So 72 blog, we're not far off 100. What are we going to do for 100? I don't know, we'll fire off a party popper or something. I don't know. So the video is, there's honesty, truth, and bullshit. Now, this is interesting because this came from my mentor, and I'm going to give you the background to this so you can understand what I'm going on about, because you probably don't quite understand what that means at the moment. So let me give you context to the story. And this literally happened in the past 2 days. So basically, there's a lot of changes going on in my business. It's 2018, it's the start of new year. Obviously, there's going to be lots of changes. Really wanting to absolutely push my business forward and really, really kill it this 2018 with everything from personal brand, which we did a video on yesterday, and with my business. I just want to get the best clients and just do the best work I've ever done and just keep on pushing this company till I know the success it can achieve. So in doing that, sometimes there has to be big changes, and sometimes those changes have to be maybe moving away from clients because it's not really the right fit. Now, I'm not going to disclose which brands because it won't be correct for me to do that, but in regards to the context of the story, basically there is a client that and we've had this conversation, so it's okay for me to talk this openly about it, but basically there's a client that I'm discussing with potentially parting ways in a few months' time. Now, that's not to mean that there's any issues with the work. It's actually because just with the amount of work that it's going to increase to, it just doesn't align with my current focus. So the opportunity is 100% there. I love them, and I'll always love that brand because I've had such a strong relationship and they've given me so many opportunities, and my mentor is actually in that brand as well. So I will never leave for good, but I will always but I obviously with the movement of my company, my focus, that will likely move apart as a working stance anyway. So and the reason for that is because in a few months' time the work is going to hugely increase, and I don't feel like I can fully commit to this and put my all into something I don't really feel is my current focus, and that's why I'm thinking of moving and taking on other clients and opportunities that are there. So obviously you can understand that this was a hard conversation to have. One, I've been umming and ahhing about it because I know this client's going to go really all in on what they're planning to do with their 2018 strategy. They've got like a 3-year strategy, which is amazing and it's incredible. I'm so looking forward to see them absolutely smash it, and hopefully I'll be on part of that journey. But in regards to me and my focus, it's just not really, I don't feel like I can put my full self into it. So having this conversation with them about potentially parting ways and sort of my feelings, my opportunities I currently have and all that, it was very difficult to bring myself to have that conversation. But it was a bit of a weird one because it's not just a client, he's my mentor. So it was a little bit, it was odd, it was strange because I can say anything to my mentor, but then it suddenly involves his company. So it was a strange one. Obviously you always have to have that conversation when it comes to it. I wouldn't just walk away, but I'm just saying it was a difficult one to come to speak to him about because I have such a strong relationship with them, and they've literally, without them I wouldn't be where I am today. 100%. They've helped me through everything. They've literally started my first they helped me start my very first company to here. They've done so much for me. So obviously you can understand that conversation is difficult. So we had a conversation, and we're sort of talking about how it was going to be for the brand, and then I sort of said, look, I know what our plans are, I know everything but I'm not really feeling it. And I was kind of shitting myself a little bit to say that, because I just didn't want to say that. I didn't want to put them in shit, and obviously I'd give them huge notice if I was going to part ways. But I was just so scared, and I thought if I do say this to him, it's going to be, I thought the conversation would turn into sort of like a smart conversation of like being smart of what they're saying, and they'll be giving me all the reasons why I should stay on, and almost like manipulating the truth to basically say, oh no, this is a better opportunity and stuff. But I couldn't be more shocked by his response. It was completely opposite to what I perceived. Sorry, to what I expected. So I told him the other opportunities I had, and sort of why my reasoning to why I was less interested, because of my focus and the other opportunities. And his response was, it shocked me. He said, if you don't go ahead with those opportunities, you're an idiot. And that was the first time being called an idiot was refreshing. I'm sure if you're called an idiot, people don't usually like it, but I found that amazing. He said, honestly, if you don't do that, I'd rip your arm off. You're an idiot. Don't be so stupid. And I was just like, so then I confessed to him saying, look, this was obviously a difficult conversation to have because of our relationship, and I honestly thought, and I said what I've just told you, I said I thought this would become a bit of an argy-bargy business chat of being a bit smart with our talk and manipulating sort of our talk to convince me to stay on. And he said no, before I could even finish what I was trying to explain to him, which I just explained to you, he stopped me and he just went, shut up, this is ridiculous. He said, just shut up for a minute, because what you're saying is absurd. He said, in life, there's people that are honest, truthful, and bullshit. There's bullshitters, there's truthful people, and there's honest people. He said, I don't deal with bullshitters. Bullshitters don't get us anywhere. Bullshitters do not move businesses forward. Bullshitters you do not learn from, you do not move forward. It's useless. Truth is just the faded honesty in order to what you are communicating then, in order to manipulate you into believing something. Honesty is the only way forward, because that's how, one, it's how we've built our trust since day one. It's how you've learned so much and how you've increased your learning so rapidly with us. It's because I've always been honest with you. Whenever I've given you feedback, whenever I've spoken to you about anything, I've been 110% honest. Like, I've never held back on honesty. I've always been 100% honesty. And we had that agreement at the very start of having a business relationship together, that I would be... and I love that about him, is that he's no shit. He just says it as it is. I love that. So if I'm doing a shit job, he'll say, you go, right, Scott, I see what you've done, but it's shit. And I love that, though. I love that, because like, I just want that sort of cut the crap out, let's just get to it. And he'll say, what are you thinking, that's stupid. Like, I love the roughness. Some people won't like that, but I sort of love the rough words and sort of like, no, that's crap, do it this way, or don't be so stupid. Like, I like that. That works for me. Might not work for others, but I love that sort of mentoring. So I was shocked. I was honestly so shocked. Like, when Obviously, if he was just my mentor, I would expect that. But because it involved his business and me leaving his business, like, it was, I thought it'd be a different sort of conversation. So I was pleasantly shocked, and it really did reconfirm why he's my mentor, because of just how amazing honest he is. And just every time I have a conversation with him, I just learn so much. Like, every time I have a conversation, it's just those light bulb moments. Like, honestly, I've done a video on it before. Get a mentor. Like, you are so silly if you don't get a mentor. They're easy to get for free. Just get one, whether it's your dad, your mum, or someone in the industry. If you need one, comment below and I'll find you one. I've got large networks in the north, so I can happily find you one. Or if the south, whatever, in the UK, I can happily find you one. But staying on track with the video is, let's go back to what he said. So honesty, truth, and bullshit. So I'm going to analyze that now. Oh, before I do analyze it, interestingly, this came at an amazing time, because another client I work with, interestingly, their whole model is so heavily based on trust. Like, so heavily based on trust, which is a little scary. And I've had this conversation with them many times, like, saying, you do realize, like, this is based on trust. A lot of it's like, it's a little risky. And he was like, yeah, like, it's like how it's going to go. So I think this came at such the right time, because I've become much more involved with this client, because I love what they do. And I just think it came at a really interesting time, that honesty, truth, and bullshit, because I really needed to understand that for me to really perform in the role that I'm now doing for this other client, of managing this whole trust part of their model, and managing all the people running that as well. So it really did come at the right time for that client. But let's dive into the analysis. So my analysis of this, let me just click down because I've written a few things. So my analysis is, oh wait, let's just make sure that's 100% clear so you can see me. Beautiful. Right, so my analysis of this is, let's start with bullshit. I'm going to go bullshit, truth, and honesty, and we're going to analyze it. So starting off with bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit in the world. We know there is. There's so many of them. Sometimes the single people, individuals, sorry, not single people, individuals, sometimes the whole companies, sometimes they're agencies. It's not just one, sometimes it could be teams, but there's bullshitters in the world. And it's just so ridiculous to bullshit, because it gets you nowhere. It gets you absolutely nowhere. You learn nothing, okay? You learn nothing, you gain nothing, and you damage relationships and trust. All those three things is like business 101. Like, learning, you're not going to go anywhere in business if you're not willing to learn. And if you're not willing to be honest, or honest with yourself, to be able to reflection. So, because reflection's huge. Like, reflection's massive, man. Reflection's so big when it comes to learning. So, like, if you're just gonna bullshit constantly, you'll bullshit yourself 100%. Like, if you bullshit other people, you'll bullshit yourself. So learning, you're gonna be missing out on that. You're gaining nothing from it. What are you gaining from it, from bullshitting? All it is it's giving you a bigger dick. Sorry, I've been a bit rough with what I'm saying now, but you know what I mean. It's just giving you bigger balls. Like, it's just feeding your ego. That's a more professional way to say that. It's feeding your ego. That's all it's doing. It's feeding your ego, which is just short-term wins, which is just a lot of crap. Like, it's just giving you an ego, and that doesn't gain you anything. It's not tangible. It's not going to gain you anything business. It's just to make you feel good, which is just utter crap. And then the other part of it is you damage relationships and trust. Like, that business is all about relationships. I can't remember who quoted it, but someone quotes saying, at the very core of it, business is people to people. Like, that is everything. Whatever you do, whether it's a product, a service, any business, it's people to people. Whatever you do, you have to communicate to someone in order to carry out the business. It's always people to people. So it's just business 101. You're just damaging everything. You're not going to be able to develop yourself personally because you can't reflect honestly. You're not learning, so your business won't progress, and you can't build trust and good relationships, which is going to grow your company. So being a bullshitter, you've lost. So take that out. So that's my analysis on that. Then there's truth. Now, I want to explain this one a bit more because I think it can be a bit confusing. Truth and honesty, the same thing. But what it means in this is like, so it's almost like a faded honesty, sort of like a manipulated honesty. So it has truth to it. That's why it says truth. But it's almost, you cater it so it's truthful to how you want it to sound. You know what I mean? So I think I'll give you some examples to sort of make this a bit more clear, and it helped me as well. Is people may argue that not telling the truth is for a valid reason. I think some of these valid reasons would be this. I think this is probably one of the biggest valid reasons when it's in business, is to protect people, to keep their role or their position. So to protect yourself, protect a friend, protect a colleague, whatever it is, to protect your role and position. Like that. At the end of the day, people are going to do that. And a part of me would expect people to do that. Like, obviously, you've got an income, that's your role. If you screwed up, like, yes, you're going to tell the truth, but you might fade it a little bit to protect your role. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to lose a job. Oh, sorry, my phone's gone off. So you don't want to lose a job, do you? So, but I don't agree with it, but I can understand why people do it. But that's what it means, is being truthful, is sort of that faded truth. And that's what I think is a really good example, is when people protect their role when they've messed up or something's gone wrong. But at the end of the day, you're not learning from this. Again, you're not reflecting properly on this. The team itself will not learn from it because the person's not come and been honest about the issue. So someone else is going to get the blame. So that person who has actually messed up is not going to learn. It's just going to happen again. And the business is failing. You're taking money, time away from the business because you're failing at your role and you're not being truthful about it. And it might just be as simple as saying, look, put my hands up, look, I messed up here. I need a bit more training on this. It'd be like, at the end of the day, if you've worked with a company for more than a year, they're not just going to throw you out. Like, you're so valuable. The amount of time and money they've put into you is just like, it's invaluable to them. So like, they're not going to want to completely retrain someone into everything just because you've messed up. People mess up, man. Like, everyone messes up. So, but don't be scared to be fully honest when you mess up. Like, don't be, because you're gonna learn from it, and they might say, that's fine, just do a few hours with this person or go on this course, whatever it is. You're gonna learn and you're gonna feel much better for it, and you're gonna build much stronger relationships because of it. Another example I had here is taking advantage of someone's knowledge, expertise, or networks. So you might be sort of not 100% truthful to someone, whether you pretend not to know much about something, or I don't know, pretending you're going to give someone something in order to take advantage of their knowledge, expertise, or networks. And again, this could seem really good, this could seem really smart, because hey, I could take advantage of someone's networks, and that network could be unbelievably valuable to me and make me a lot of money. But at the end of the day, this is a short-term win. Yes, it might be an instant gain, but it's a short-term win. It's not a long-term, because a long-term is going to be a negative, because this is going to heavily affect your credibility when he sees or she sees through this. So it's really going to affect your network. It's going to affect who you are in your space. So again, that's a negative long-term, because we've always got to think long-term when it comes to business. And when you go back to the other good points of the other thing, like learning and building relationships, they're all long term. Like, when you learn something, like, you know that long term. You don't forget it, do you? 5 + 5 is 10. You're not going to forget that. Relationships are a lifetime. So they're long term. These little money grabbers are just short term stuff. So short term is not the way forward. It's always long term. then we get on to, so that was truth. Now we get on to honesty. And this is where the game's going to win. This is where you're going to win the game. This is where you're going to win in business. I'm just going to bring that down slightly. So I don't think I moved anything. So honesty. Honesty, I believe, is the fastest way to success. So in this video with what I'm discussing now, out of the three, the reason it is because I'm going to explain now. So let's start with honesty with yourself first. So being able to be honest with yourself and confident with being honest with yourself is huge. Like I said earlier about reflection, like reflection is massive with progression. Progression in business, progression in personal life, like reflection is massive. You should be reflecting all the time, because that's really going to help you learn, It's going to progress your learning much faster, 10 times, 10x, as Grant Cardone always says. It's going to 10x your learning, your progression, and it's also going to let you be happy, because you're going to be honest with what you're enjoying. You're not going to be money grabbing. You're going to be like, for instance, what I'm doing now with the whole client, with this client that that I'm thinking about departing from, the opportunity of them is very, very good. It's the best opportunity I've ever been given. So it's not that the opportunity isn't there. It's just my happiness, me being honest with myself. I know I will not be 100% happy in that role. So I've stepped back and said, like, I see this opportunity. It's shiny. I like the look of it. Absolutely. But in myself, I don't believe I'll put 100% effort in this, because it's just not really my focus at the moment with sort of what the brand is, and I feel like I can help them but not put all myself into it, because it's not really 100% my interest. So one, I'm proud that I'm able to do that, because I'm sort of being able to be humble with myself and really step back from just taking the short-term wins and sticking to happiness. And I believe that's so important when moving, not just in business but in life, is really being honest with yourself with what you're happy with, and really pushing for happiness in everything. And that's what I do with my company as well, and that's why I believe that it's grown success, is because I've only ever chosen clients that, one, I can be honest with the return on investment, the ROI, and that I'm and the only reason I will be able to give that ROI is because I'm happy with who the client is, and that I'm happy because not just that I have the knowledge to do it, like the knowledge is already there. It's not that, it's that I have to be, like, I have to really feel who they are. It has to be in sync with the way I think, it has to be in sync with my focus. And if it is, that means I'm going to be happy, comfortable, and I'm going to be ready, and I'm going to put 110% effort into it, and we're definitely going to achieve the ROI, the return on investment. So honesty with myself and with yourself is huge, because with the learning and happiness, absolutely huge. Now, honesty with others, it's very similar. Again, they're going to learn. Again, it allows others to learn. What use is you being bullshitting others, because they're not going to learn? You're just taking learning away from them just to make them feel good. Again, it's all just short term. And again, if they're in your business and you're bullshitting them, you're screwing yourself, because they're not learning, and then they're doing a worse job for you in business. So it's really counterproductive. So the more honest you are to people you work with, the faster they're going to learn, and the faster the business is going to develop. And it's going to build relationships, because they're going to respect you for the honesty, and two, it's going to build really strong relationships, because they're going to be honest back to you with feedback if you've stepped out of line. So honesty is huge with building relationships as well, because at the end of the day, business is people to people, no matter what you do. So building relationships is massive, and that is, again, it resonates with the other client that I was talking about so much, because of their model is so heavily based on being honest with each other, that it's really interesting to sort of learn this and reconfirm this, because I'm learning as we go on. Like I said, I'll have those light bulb moments and you'll see them. Is I have to really understand how to build those relationships to make sure that the other person is just as honest as I am, which is going to be difficult because we're going to be recruiting people and we're going to be dealing with people that won't think like me. They won't think like TB. Oh, I've just said the name, but yeah, they won't think like the client. So because they won't think like our culture and sort of like the way they should in our team, I mean, with honesty, it's going to be a bit of a learning process with encouraging people to be comfortable, to be honest with both themselves and with myself. So I'm going to stop blabbing now because I feel like I am. But that was my analysis. Yep, that was my analysis. So I was just checking my video to make sure it was all good and it looks alright. So my takeaway for you, I mean, really the analysis is the takeaway, but I'll just give you, I always like to give you the takeaway points just so it sort of puts it into some small words. Is always be honest. Always be honest because with yourself and others, because it's learning. Like I've just said it all, haven't I? It's huge for learning, progression, happiness, and relationships. There we go. There's your points: learning, happiness, progression, and relationships. Which is business. It's business 101. And then don't bullshit people. Don't be a bullshitter. And the quickest way you're going to be found out on bullshit is if you bullshit on ROI, return on investment. So that basically means if someone comes to you saying, I want 1,000 people, traffic to my website, 1,000 people, you say, yeah, I'll do it, I'll get you 2,000 people, and then you go away and I'll do it in a month, and you go away and you get them 5 people. It's bullshit. And it does happen all the time. So don't bullshit, because you're going to ruin your credibility. You're going to just go out and learn and be honest to yourself. The second you bullshit people, it means you'll bullshit yourself, and you're just not going to get anywhere. And the worrying thing about that is that the more you live like that and the more you work like that, the more you're going to burn bridges, the more you're going to ruin relationships, the more you're going to become known within that area that you are a bullshitter. And the more you push it, the more years you push it, it's just going to come a time where just no one's going to do business with you because people will know who you are. So don't go down that road. Be aware of it. And if you want to quickly understand whether you are going down that road, because you might not even realise it, it's just to speak to a friend, speak to past people you've worked with, and ask them for honest feedback on the work you did for them, and really look at the return on investment, looked at what you promised them to what you gave them, and that's your answer straight away. Remember, don't fall foul to cognitive dissonance. We've spoken about that heavily on this channel because I read the book Black Box Thinking, which you should definitely read because it's an amazing book. But don't fall foul to cognitive dissonance, because that will be a real negative driver to your business development and learning if you allow that to take over you, and it's very difficult to manage. Just go watch go read Black Box Thinking if you want to learn more about that. But anyway, I'm going to finish off the video now because I think it's very long. Yep, half an hour. But I enjoyed this. It was interesting. I didn't know how I was going to discuss this topic because I just found it. I remember it being so interesting when he mentioned it on the phone that I was just like, oh, I love that. Like when he said this honesty, truth, and bullshit. Like I just loved it. I thought that's the title for a video. That I was just trying to figure out a way to explain it to people and reconfirm it myself, and I've definitely learnt loads there. So I hope it made sense. If it didn't, or you got any questions or comments, anything at all, please do comment below, or if you feel more comfortable, DM me, email me, whatever you feel more comfortable with. As always, it's an absolute pleasure. Please do follow me on all social media platforms. So YouTube is at Scott Mears, where you are now. Facebook is at Scott Mears Entrepreneur, and Twitter is at Scott Mears _. It was an absolute pleasure. as always, the best way to predict the future is create it. Go out there and create your future. Smash the 2018. It was an absolute pleasure. This was Day to Day Scott. Have a lovely night. I'm doing this at 1:30 in the morning, and it'll be posted probably at 2:30 in the morning, because that's just what my work day is at the moment. Yeah. But thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure, and I will see you tomorrow. And I promise the times will get better. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Well, I do kind of know how I'm going to do it. But basically, I'm going to aim to get the videos out at 8 o'clock every day, because I think that's a reasonable time, and it's when everyone seems to do it. So I'm just going to do that time. Okay, have a lovely day, or have a lovely sleep, should I say. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.